I decided to do 2 top 5s. There's 2 topics I wanted to always cover, but I don't have enough material to reach 10. So instead of never doing them, I decided to stick them together. The first top 5 is an interesting subject. The title of the video says a PR season that's better than a Sentai season. Not in the way you're thinking, but more PR utilizing materials from the Sentai better, ranging from the Zords, the characters, story elements, Ranger suits, but the Sentais are still good, bar a few of them, but they lacked in using these pieces to their full potential. The second top 5 is all about friends and allies, people that I enjoyed throughout the seasons, the ones that helped the Rangers, who would have been perfect in becoming an actual Ranger. These characters could have fixed issues in the season, would have been fun seeing them as Rangers, or made use of the footage in creative ways. Thank you, Rai for these suggestions. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, and if you have other topics you'd like me to cover, leave them below. I might use them. Keeper! This could have easily fixed the major issue with him. We knew almost nothing about Keeper. He came to Earth, guarding the Energems, and that's really it. He gave out some basic advice and suggestions, but even that got phased out over time. I don't understand why they didn't just make him become the Silver Ranger. Keeper was the replacement for Tauren and Kruger in the first place. Instead of using Zenowing, who comes in way too late, gets even less backstory than Keeper, he doesn't even have lines in the farewell scene, they hardly ever use Japanese footage on top of it, so why waste time in setting up Zenowing? I would have been fine with Tauren's suit used as a guarding spear or something that shielded the Titanozord from being detected. Keeper can fight. There was no reason to not use him in this way. Alpha! Any version of Alpha. All the Alphas have done lots of work over the show, but they end up being stuck in the base. I don't think it would have been a problem if one of them became a Ranger. Alpha did go into the morphing grid, and we had a dog that could fit his nose in a helmet. He's also from Edenoi. If they have masked riders, Alpha could be programmed to fight. If I had the choice of making Alpha a Ranger, I would have them as some of these characters. Robo Knight, Beast Morpher Silver Ranger, Lost Galaxy Yellow, lightning moves and the ability to speak to the Galactives would fit. Blue Centurion, Phantom Ranger, Time Force Green, an updated future version of Alpha. Yes, I'm taking Hyperforce's idea. Ninja Storm Green Ranger. They could all work at a basic footage level. The character has very little backstory as it is, and it's a free pass to fan service as long as you brought back one of the original voices. I'm open to all of them, including Miss New York if she came back and did a better accent. There's so many different things they could have done. Learning how to fight with the team. Some small stories of him and Zordon, like how Tommy and Kara small talked in Dino Thunder. Stuff like that. Sophie! This was a missed chance. They did a really great 2-parter that was all about the Delta Command Megazord and a robot girl named Sophie. She hid it from them in fear of being turned away thanks to Grum and his stupid robots. Her personality worked great with Bridge. She understood him. She could repair and do technical stuff better than Ket. Even hates the Empire because they were using her to power a monster and she wanted to become an officer in SPD. All the pieces fit together to become a Ranger. They had 2 Ranger suits they could have used. Nova Ranger suit or Deca Gold suit. I know it was budget, they couldn't even afford an actor for Omega Ranger. If they had the money, she could have been either one of them. She would be restricted to US footage, but could have been used with Cat and Boom. Make an episode with the 3 of them. That episode where Bridge was trapped, that could have been Jack and Sophie fighting him. They could have explored robot problems. She could help design Jack Battleizer. Such a waste. Captain Mitchell! Ryan is a Ranger, Dana is a Ranger. It would have made sense if the leader of the Aqua Base could have helped out now and again too. GoGo 5 did give them limited material. Ryan was made for Lightspeed Rescue, but they had the option of the Sig Tector from GoGo 5's movie. I think that would have been perfect for him. Even if you couldn't use it much, I would have been happy if he used it in the finale. When the Aqua Base was flooding, that could have been where it was done. This is the ultimate worst case scenario. We had this suit in place just for this moment. Mitchell is important, but he didn't get much to do. Fairweather had more stuff to do once Ryan left. It would have been cool if he helped seal up Queen Benchira in the final fight. It was basically all US footage to begin with. Skull! Oh yeah, my number 1 has to be Skull. I was super pissed that he was a red herring for the Gold Ranger powers. I really thought that was going somewhere. I mean, in general, Bulk and Skull were turning good. They turned into cops for 2 years. Come on, he's been on the show forever and never got the chance. It would have been interesting seeing Skull hide it from Bulk. That awkward, I was a jerk to you guys, I feel stupid doing that to you. At least Paul Schreier got the chance in Hyperforce.
Wild Force.
This is weird coming from me, but I think Wild Force did a few things better than Gal Ranger. First, having a primary villain. It was smart of them to have one voice leading. It allowed the development of Cole's character, and I've said this before, it's really hard to have rotating villains. Land on a good one and they die quick, you get mad. If you have a main villain but isn't in the season till the end, I don't care about them. The main characters were more relatable because the Gal Ranger cast was more disconnected. They refer to themselves as colors. They rarely talked about their past. I was less invested in everyone except Gal Silver. By the end of the season, they did start caring about their regular lives, but it was just too late. I get it. You want to be secretive to the public, but calling each other by color names while in the base was stupid. I don't even remember their names of the 5 Gal Rangers because of this.
Lost Galaxy.
All the basic elements from Gingaman were good designs and ideas. I loved the generals, the pirate theme, but they didn't really get to use them enough. You dealt with a faction here, went with another one there, so not a lot of focus. Everything blended together. I think that's why Lost Galaxy didn't even bother using this. They condensed them to work under one main villain and that was it. The Gingaman cast was also not really good besides 3 of them, red, blue, and pink. The others were kind of just there. The nature theme wasn't the issue, it's the opposite. The nature side was a big focus, which got them boiled down to their element powers. They lacked the human element. While the Lost Galaxy cast went in a different direction, all the characters save Maya got stuff to do. They tackled different problems, like Kai had to confront Staten when he was brainwashed. Maya came from another world. She thinks everyone was dead. Damon was the chief engineer, got ideas stolen from him. Everyone wants to do the impossible and the big change, the villains. So many different directions, Scorpius, Divya, Trakina, and Captain Mutiny, everything kept changing over time. I think if Gingaman condensed the general list, used the main cast in other plots besides the usual, I would have enjoyed the season more. Ultimately, Lost Galaxy beats out Gingaman in execution.
In space.
I do like Mega Ranger. School settings are different, the cast was fine, a bit limited at times, Mega Silver spiced things up, but the rest wasn't interesting. You had a season that focused so much on a space theme, but it was supposed to be linked to the video game part. I never really understood why they went that way. It was such a missed opportunity to use the space elements to travel to a few other planets. Know the twisted dimension more. Use Professor Kabuto in episodes that had more tech problems. In Space beat out the main story by far. It was just a bigger scale, wrapping up stories, using a ton of characters, making the villains more menacing, all under a small budget and no stock footage at the disposal. They did alien worlds in all the regular locations they filmed. It was totally fine. Very disappointing that it took them nearly 20 years to finally make a space show that explored space. I don't know, maybe it was that they didn't want to go near Star Trek or Star Wars. Space even created the Battleizer from the Battlerizer, which had no suit upgrade. Mode 3 was a power boost to the Mega Snipers. The villains in Space were done better. Mega Ranger's enemies were mostly ignored and even overshadowed by the Neji Rangers they created. It was a sad missed opportunity that I'm glad Space exploited. It saved the series from cancellation.
Zeo.
No doubt about it, Zeo was far better than O-Ranger. It sucks too, because the problems with O-Ranger were caused by last minute changes. The main heroes on O-Ranger, we've had Rangers get to do nothing, but O-Ranger went past that. I only like 1 or 2, and that's stretching it. The villains are pretty much the same, no flaws with them, but the buildup of the Zeo crystals, the highs of MMPR, the new character Tanya, the show going away from MMPR for the first time, the new power chamber, Jason coming back, there was a ton of stuff going on. There was always something that satisfied you when watching Zeo, little that got you annoyed.
MMPR Season 1.
The first season of MMPR greatly improved on Zyuranger's material. I like Zyuranger, it's on my favorite list, but they dropped the ball on a lot of things. That season did new stuff, but didn't do things with them. You had Burai, the first main Sixth Ranger, and he was always locked away in a room dying. The main characters are all from these tribes millions of years ago. No one cares one bit that how the world changed. Nothing on what they did in the past. The Shogozus were gods, but they hardly talked. The tech was great, but there's no backstory on anyone. Barza gets nothing to do. The secret base is this huge ancient room. It was meaningless compared to the command center. MMPR took each of these things, even the Rad Bug, which was just used in 2 Zyuranger episodes, and converted the show into a sci-fi action series. We complain about Zordon never telling the Rangers everything, but he still factors into the story. He guides the Rangers. Barza didn't really get to do that. PR incorporated the power coins and the Zords into the story often. You care about those things. The medallions practically never get brought up, except the one time they had to unlock Ultimate Daijujin. While we had Goldar take them, they acted as keys. All the characters on MMPR have personalities, while the Zyurangers pretty much share the same ones. Don and Boy can mix and match. Geki and Goshi do the same thing. Only Burai and Mei are unique. In PR, the closest you get to that is Trini and Billy, which they're still different in a lot of ways. Then you had most of the plots involving kids. There's a purpose to that design with Bandora, but you could only do so much with that. In MMPR, the monsters are all random stories featuring the cast in different situations, like the city dump, Billy helping out in a science fair, Pudgy Pig invading the juice bar. There was so little what they could use from Zyuranger, I was surprised the writers were able to pull off the first season. It's one of the reasons why Bulk, Skull, and Alpha even exist. They filled in that lack of narrative. I don't like comparing Sentai and Rangers, they're always two different things, but in these cases, PR utilized all these seasons better. It's not a matter of scale. I want to care about everything in a show. I don't want to hate a character. I don't want to hate a mecha. I want everything to be useful. That extends to the extra characters. All good potential, never given a chance. Who would have you liked to seen as a Ranger? Or what seasons you love over Sentai? Super Sentai shows do require different tastes than PR. New episodes every Monday. Next time, the 10 weirdest Power Ranger episodes.